Good morning. It's 9:02. It is Friday, so it's finally the weekend. I am excited. We are going to have a lot of fun. Do me a huge favor right now, and I probably sound like a broken record and ask this a lot. Smash the share button. If you're watching on Facebook, I appreciate you taking the time to tune in. It just started pouring rain, and I have to apologize to my guest, who we're going to get introduced here in a bit, as we were trying to communicate and get her inside of the building, because as soon as she parked, the rain just started pouring, and I felt like my eyes started watering because there's some things that I do not like at all. One of those is just like running in the rain. There's so many risks. You could slip, you could fall, you get wet, everything gets messed up. But be safe if you are out driving. If you have some plans to be out on the road today, make sure that you take those extra precautions. We have Miss Alex Gracia in studio. She is the Diamonds Division Reality of Wrestling champion, and she brought her title. The title is in studio. We're going to get her introduced, and I'm going to find out, how do you become the Diamond Division champion? What's up, Alex? How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited you're here.
I'm excited.
So you've been wrestling, I'm going to say, all over the United States and maybe even the world. Like, you've been traveling far and wide to go and wrestle.
Yeah. So just earlier this year, I was in Japan. So
what's Japan like?
Oh, it was like the best experience I've ever had in my life. Culture shock for sure, but I mean, just being like embracing another culture and just kind of like learning everything that they do there. I was like, this is unbelievable. I loved it. That's
cool. So you've been wrestling all over the world, and I had tried to get you in about a month ago whenever Reality of Wrestling had there was a night, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, but there was like some qualifiers. You defended your title, but you were wrestling like in Chicago or somewhere else the night before and couldn't make it. You're like, yeah, I'm wrestling.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's cool. Where were you? Do you remember what state were you in?
I might have been in New Jersey. I feel like New Jersey seems pretty accurate for that.
That's cool. You know, okay, I'm going to get into this right after we get on the FM. So I'm going to go ahead and swap us over. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this out. If you're watching on Channel 46, thank you for hanging out. We're going to have a fun time. Feel free to ask some questions. If you're watching on social media, here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it is 9:05 a.m. on a Friday. My name's Gardy. I'm excited. I got Alex in studio. I'm going to let her reintroduce herself so she can share exactly who she is, what she does, and why you should be following her.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Alex Gracia. I'm a wrestler at Reality of Wrestling right here in League City, Texas, and I'm currently the Diamonds champion.
That's a big deal, and you have your title here.
Yes.
And it got a little bit wet, but it dried off quick, and this thing is pretty legit. And I'm wondering if it would be weird if I took a picture like with the Diamonds Division champion.
Yeah,
is that
take
okay?
as many pictures as you want.
Okay. Because I've had pictures with the TV title, because Will All Day has been holding that for a bit. Actually, Brennan Steen was currently holding it whenever he came in, and actually Will and Brennan, they both came in at the same time. But
That was interesting, I'm sure.
It was, but there was not too much drama. So you're the Diamonds Division champion. What did it take for you to achieve this? Like, how long have you been wrestling?
So I started training September 11th, 2017, and then I made my debut about 5 months later. So I was just kind of thrown in there pretty quickly.
That's pretty quick, because I've seen some people training for years that haven't made their debut.
Yeah, so it was like the very last weekend of February that I made my debut. So it's been over a year and a half now that I've been wrestling matches.
Cool. And what made you want to get into wrestling?
Oh, wow. What's led me to here? That's a crazy story. But, I mean, wrestling, people in my family grew up watching it, but I just never thought, like, that's something I'm going to do with my life, because, like, it was instilled in us, like, we're going to go to college and we're going to go get a job and we're going to be okay. And so, I mean, I went to college and I pursued sports reporting because I grew up playing competitive sports all my life. So I was like, I want to stay in the sports world. And I had a lot of opportunities like from the beginning. So that was great. I got a chance to like work on television and I got to work at some radio stations, but I just still wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I'm just missing being an athlete and being competitive. I was like, I feel like I should be out there. And I had thought about it before going into wrestling, but I just never took that step. And so finally, when I was like, you know what, it's now or never, I just kind of took a leap of faith and bet on myself.
That's awesome. You mentioned that people in your family watched wrestling and enjoyed it. Did anybody in your family wrestle?
No, they did not.
So you're the first.
Yes, I am the first.
Was there somebody that you met that kind of had to give you that encouragement and be like, you could do this? Yeah, like I'm doing it? Or did you just take the jump without meeting anybody? Like, I'm enrolling, I'm going to go learn, let's go.
So while in college, I would have these like miserable little conversations with my friend, like, I'm just not happy, I don't know what to do. And
you're like, working in radio stinks.
Yeah. And I had like mentioned wrestling to her like a year and then a year later, and she would just be like, well, go do it. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And I finished school, go work at a job. And then so when I was really trying to evaluate everything again, I was at a family dinner, and my cousin, his daughter, had it on her phone, and the women's matches were on, and I was just watching, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just felt alive again. And I was like, this is so freaking cool.
Was it WWE?
Yes, it was. And he was just like, why don't you do that? Like, I feel like you'd be pretty good at it. Like, you have this background, like you grew up playing sports, like you like this stuff, like just go for it. And I was like, I don't even know where to start. And he was like, there's a wrestling school right down the road. And I was like, what? And it was Texas Wrestling Academy, formerly known as Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy.
Cool.
And I just kind of looked it up, and I was like reading, and I was like, okay, I'll email him. And so I literally emailed the head trainer that day, and the next day he was like, oh, so you're interested? Well, there's a tryout September 11th. And so I was like, well, I'll go to just check it out and see if I like this. And I just never left.
So there was a tryout to be accepted into the school?
Yeah, for a week. So it was straight up conditioning and just them trying to weed out the people that are saying that they want to do that, to just see how far they can push you to be like, okay, are you going to stay? Are you really about this?
Make sure that you're serious. So that was what year?
2017.
2017. Okay, so how did you end up down here in Texas City?
So after my debut, wrestled for a few months or whatever, and they do ladies' night out shows here at Reality of Wrestling, and they were interested in bringing me in for a show, and so I was like, oh, okay, great. And they were just like, if you ever want to like check out the school, come and train. And I love expanding like all of my training, so I was like, I'm so down. So I came and trained there for a few days, and I just started making an effort to try to come here like once or a few times a week. And I left New Year's Eve that year to go to my Japan tour, but I told them, I said, hey, when I come back, I'm moving here, I'm going to train here full time. And they're like, okay. And so I came back in March. And
that's awesome. You know, and so you've had the opportunity to wrestle all over the world, including Japan, and then you also wrestle all over the United States. I mean, and now that you're at Reality of Wrestling and you're the champion, I actually saw the match on YouTube where you won that, because it was not like a normal like one-on-one match. It was just a free-for-all.
It was like six-way.
Yeah, it was a six-way match, so everybody had opportunity.
Let's just make this as hard as we can. You don't have to just beat one person. Got to be 5.
Who was the champion before?
It was AQA.
AQA. And, you know, obviously you are the Diamonds Division champion, but I feel like she kind of got, because I'd be mad. I was like, well, there's so many opportunities for me to lose. Like, there's, you know, lose, I lose, you know. But no, it was really good. And I was watching on YouTube. There was a ton of people watching. Have you noticed how that Reality Wrestling YouTube page is just on fire? Like 100,000 plus subscribers.
They update us and they're like, oh, our channel's building this much. And I mean, that's super exciting just to be here for all of that. I'm like, I want to be a part of the growth. Like, what can I do? Like, let's keep it going.
I have seen some of the videos that you have produced, and they are awesome. Like, there's some with Will that I guess y'all wrestled at in Austin, maybe.
Yes.
There was
where they made us a tag team.
Yeah, and then there was another one with, I guess it's Roxy, where y'all were like, And I didn't understand it because I hadn't seen the preview.
Oh, okay. When we had our match against each other.
Yeah, but I believe it was Kevin Bernhardt had told me like, oh, it's scene for scene, this other thing. Where did you get those ideas?
I love that. I mean, the way I see it is I'm like, this is what's funny to me, or this is what's entertaining to me. This would grab me in. So how can I do something and incorporate something where like I'm enjoying this? Like nothing I do ever feels like work or a hassle or I'm having to go out of my way to do it. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, but I'm having a blast. Like whether I was like shooting those things with Will, like I was just having a ton of fun the entire time, and I'm like, this is how I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and something's working. I'm like, hopefully you think it's as funny as me.
Yeah. So what's the final goal for you? The reality of wrestling is maybe, in our area, one of the top in the country when it comes to, I guess, what you're considered like an independent promotion, right?
Absolutely.
So what's the goal?
I mean, the goal would little goals to reach the big goal, but I mean, like right now, like I would love to have wrestling as that's my way of making a living, and that's all I got to focus on is wrestling right now. And so from there I just feel like opportunities can expand, and then you can really start to use your brand and use your influence to go on to other things to hopefully like inspire people, but definitely using wrestling as a way of getting there. I feel like if it's like a gift you're given, like take advantage of that gift and take it and run with it, and maybe someone else will find their gift through there.
Yeah, I saw a picture that you shared, and it was like, hey, this is my first day wrestling school, and this was my WWE tryout. What was that like? So you've had a tryout for the WWE. That's a big deal.
Yes. So I got back in March from Japan, and so I was already living in Houston and training over here, and it was just hard to adjust. Like I had gotten in a car accident moving to Houston, so my car was totaled, and then I had a job while I was at home before I left for Japan, and I didn't have a job anymore, so like finances were really hard, and just everything was just, I felt like for a long time it was go, 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 and I love that type of lifestyle, and just a lot of things like personally, like in my family was going on, and so like I remember, I always like envision, I'm like, this is how I'm going to react when I get my invitation.
Yeah.
And I was like, literally, I woke up and I opened my email and it was just like, you're invited, like WWE PC tryout. And I was like in shock, like so in shock that like I just took a screenshot and like I sent it to my parents, and like my mom calls me and she's just like bawling on the phone, and she's just like, are you serious? Like, is this real? And I was like, yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
real.
Wow.
And I'm just like, is it? Yeah. Yeah, like it's real. This isn't like a month. Like it was wild.
And so I'm guessing they invite people from, the best promotions or people that have caught their eye. How many people were at that tryout?
My tryout had about 45 people.
And what was what they put you through? Is that kind of similar to what you're used to, or is it like different or less or more?
Everything that we did at the tryout, I had done a drill like that or similar to it or spot on exactly. So I felt fully prepared, and that's what I think like reality of wrestling is good for, is like they will prepare you for when you get that call to hopefully take that next step, or when you're getting opportunities. And I was like busting my butt with cardio like every day, because I knew from people who had told me, who had been there, and people with experience that they're going to try to kill you over there. So be ready for that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be prepared for someone probably trying to make me want to die. So.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like when you go and train in reality of wrestling, they get you ready for that level, the next level, if that's what you desire, and you have the right things fall into place, and you can make it, right. And in other promotions I've seen, it's like, well, we don't really focus on cardio, but if you want to make it to the next level, you have to focus on everything that they're training you at Reality of Wrestling. So that's kind of, I would say that's an advantage.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's just a culture because it even goes back to when you first get that tryout to even be in a school.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how bad do you want this?
Yeah.
They're kind of asking you that before you even step in a ring, or
Right.
they even care to see how well you wrestle.
Were there some people there at that WWE tryout that were maybe not as prepared, like cardio-wise, or they were just like, man, you could tell they were struggling?
I was shocked at the athletes that were there. It was insane. Like, there's this drill. It's called the bag drill.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's not good.
yeah, it's not fun. It's like a drop down burpee, hit the ropes, drop down burpee, hit the ropes. And that's like one. And you're going like for an entire minute, like
Wow,
3
yeah.
times in a row. And that was the one where I was like, okay, I'm going to practice this every day. I'm going to get quick. And I felt really proud of myself when I did that. And there was a guy there, and he came up to me after, and he was like, hey, I just want to say, like, you're really impressive. And I was like, you beat me by like 4 or 5 down and backs. Like, I was like, that's a lot. And he goes, yeah, but I was an Olympic wrestler. I'm a bronze medalist, like, wrestler. And I was like, oh, okay.
Man.
All right. Well, if I'm like even a little bit close to you, like, that's a win.
Yeah, well, so I guess they invite the best of the best. So, to get that invitation is a big deal, and then to catch the eye, and then I'm sure they keep watching you as your career unfolds. And Booker T, he's the founder, and one of the owners, him and Kevin, and Brad Gilmore, running Reality of Wrestling, and everybody else that puts hard work in to make it happen. I say that's the advantage of having Booker T be involved with the promotion, currently still working with the WWE. Would you say that's one of the reasons you came down here? Is that an advantage?
I would say they give you all the tools, and it's your job to take the initiative and use those tools and make something of yourself.
Yeah.
So they're not going to tell you, hey, go work on promos. Or they will. They'll say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to work on this. Okay, but they're not going to do it for you.
Yeah.
And I like to be coached that way. I'm like, okay, if I'm bad at something, if I'm good at something, whatever I need to work on, just tell me. Like, I'll go do it. Because that's the discipline, like, I have for myself. And that's the kind of standard I hold myself up to. But I think just being at Reality of Wrestling, I was learning everything that I wanted to do. There are so many different paths you can take in wrestling, and you have to know, where do you see yourself ending up? And I know that I want to work on television someday. And so why not learn from like a 2-time Hall of Famer and learn how to work a television style match? So that's why I felt like this was the best place for me personally. But television isn't going to be for everybody, and not everyone wants to be on television. So they might not enjoy the things that we work on here opposed to going somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. And you mentioned, playing sports growing up, whenever in high school, and I don't know, did you play in college as well?
No, that's when I stopped.
Okay. And that's when you focused on the reporting.
Yes.
But what sports did you play growing up?
So I did track, softball, volleyball, but softball was my love. Like, that's what I did since I was 7.
That was your thing, huh?
That was it.
So does any of that kind of, I guess, help, because it's a team sport. I don't know, are you following the Astros? They won last night. It's a big deal. A lot of people
I heard
excited.
that. I used to follow a lot more, and it's just hard now, but I'm like, I'll catch it here and there.
Yeah. Has any of those, I guess, like the skill, like softball skills, like directly helped you as a current athlete in wrestling?
I would think, I think athletes are just athletes.
Yeah.
And you kind of find like where, okay, this is the type of sport I should be doing and whatnot. But I think just growing up, being coached and being on teams that went to nationals and going to a pitching coach every single week, and him holding you up to a standard like, hey, I need you to go to 100 pitches every single day. Okay, well, he's obviously not going to do those pitches for me every single day. Or, yeah, being on a team to where it's like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, take 5 laps around the field. Like, so kind of coming again, like, I like to be coached. Like, I like to be told, like, how can I improve? Like, I want to get better. So who's ever willing to coach me and who's ever, like, willing to take the time, like, I'm willing to learn.
Awesome. I talked to Kevin, and he said that's one of the big things whenever they bring in talent. You know, they're looking, and there's some of the best wrestlers that we have right now currently at Reality of Wrestling. And he says, well, tell them, like, hey, it's a team. It's a team because there's 2 people in the ring. Well, 3, I guess, you know, with the referee, and you're making it work. And it's all about, you know, entertainment, having a good time, and putting on something that maybe people have never seen before, or a memory that's created right there. Mm-hmm. So it's that team in there, and then the people behind the scenes. And sometimes you don't win every match. Yeah. You know, not everybody can be the champion like you are. And there was a long time that you wrestled and you weren't the champion. Mm-hmm. So it's all about, you know, trying to control that ego, take the direction, and be able to process it and make it good for the brand and everybody's career. So whenever you get told something that maybe wouldn't be your best, hey, like, why don't, you know, this isn't the way I'd see it. I'm going out and win every time. And how do you take that? How do you process that and handle, I guess, like, put ego down and make it work?
Like taking advice, or
well, yeah, even taking advice, or let's say that you're not winning, like, you know, or something like that, and this is like, hey, no, I'm the champ forever. That's the way I would write my own, right? You know what I'm saying? But, like, being able to accept that and be like, okay, it's for the good of the brand and for everything.
Yeah, I think it's just always about having an open mind, and you can kind of be your own athlete and your own, like, be an adult about it, and you can pick and choose kind of what you think will work for you and what you think doesn't. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they're just, Booker tells me to do something, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's like 110% right all the time, like, to me. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just having an open mind, and, like, even someone you don't think you could learn something from, or people in, like, our beginner's ring, I'm like, I want to, like, learn from you, because you're probably seeing things or being told things now that I haven't been told for maybe a year.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, what you say, or, like, what you hear, like, what you think, because sometimes when you're just not working on specific things and they're working on that right now, like, I'm always down to, like, hear what someone has to say.
Yeah. It's like that with math. I have a son. He's 6, and it's just like, oh, I haven't seen, you know, it's like simple math, and it's like, I haven't seen this in forever, but getting that refresher, I'm like trying to relearn and be like, okay, so this is how they're doing it now. Okay, that makes sense. Right now it's 9:25. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. Feel free to share this video out. Quick reminder, tomorrow is our Talk of Taco cook-off in the day, and then in that evening, there is a match that you guys are taking place at Reality Wrestling. What's going on?
Yeah, so we have a match tomorrow night. I have a title defense. So
who are you against?
Hyon.
She's kind of been a little, like, not nice to people. I'm just gonna say, like, she's coming out and, like, disturbing matches, and she's just, I don't know. What are your thoughts on all that?
So we've never had a singles match together.
Okay.
So I think this will be really interesting. It'll be our first time in the ring, 1-on-1.
Do you have any predictions?
I mean, I don't want to lose this title.
Right.
So I feel like I'm going to do everything that I can fairly to keep that.
Do you think Hyon thinks the same way? She's going to do everything fairly? Or
I don't know, because I know she doesn't like losing either. We both have that in us, just
yeah.
We'll see.
All right. I guess we'll see. And I think usually it starts at 7. The bell, like, will usually sound at 7. That's whenever the first match goes. I believe it's realityofwrestling.com. You can go and learn more. And you can go watch Alex defend her title against Hyon. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, right now, we're going to take a quick break on the FM, and we'll keep it going. If you have any questions and you're watching on social media, feel free to let me know. All right. Man, there was a question I was going to ask.
The link, and I hope I was like, I'm going to tag the Facebook page, so hopefully someone goes there.
Ethan, can you help her find it? If that's okay, he can help you find it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
here's
even whenever you start it, like the stream at first, it doesn't pop up at first, but What's up, folks? What you guys got going on today? Somebody let me know if it's still raining outside. Oh, I got these headphones in. It sounds like it. I need it to stop. Yeah, if you're watching, let me know. Where are you watching from? What you got going on? What's up, Maria? What's up, Jen? Good morning, folks. We're talking to Alex Gracia. She is the current Diamonds Division champion at Reality of Wrestling. Has the title right here. Can we show it off? You can show it to that camera. To the camera. And people will be able to see it right here.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah, they should be able. That's a nice belt. That's like a legit. It's heavy.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's leather. Yeah.
Can we talk about the Pink Dream? Like, how did you get that name? Where did that come from? Obviously, you got a lot of pink going on. Is that something you just grew up liking and just said, hey, I'm going to run with it?
Yeah, I'm just like, pink's my color. I decided. But it's funny because my very first day of training, I walked in with like a pink tank top and it was just my pink tennis shoes, like just decked out. And so when it came time to start thinking about like what kind of gear I want to design, like I was just overthinking everything. And my trainer at the time was like, why would you not wear pink gear? You wear pink like every day, like all. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll wear pink gear. And so the Pink Dream itself, like that's my favorite diamond. It's actually like a rare diamond. There's only one. It's the largest pink diamond in the world, and it's my phone background actually. And
awesome.
So when I was just thinking, and I was like, I feel like I'm that diamond, you know, like
Yeah.
So I was like, Pink
Run
Dream.
with it. So on YouTube, whenever you did win that title, and I had watched most of that whole night because that was like one of the first times y'all had streamed the night live on YouTube, and there was a ton of people watching. As soon as you won, there were people in the comments already calling the Pink Diamond. They were like, the Pink. I was like, who even thought of this? Like instantly in the comments as soon as you were announced the winner.
Like Pink Dream.
We know
Like,
they were saying like the pink diamond, the pink diamond. I was like, who's so quick that they were like, it just caught on. It just flows and makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. Pretty neat. I need to ask Kevin, like, when are they going to do that again? When are they going to stream that live?
I know. Hopefully, maybe in December.
Yeah.
That's the next big show.
Me and my wife, we went last month to the one that over there, Reality Wrestling, and we had a great time.
I wrestled Roxy.
Yes, you wrestled Roxy. Yes. And then I guess Hyan. How do you pronounce her name? Hyan. I don't know how you pronounce it. Hyan. I guess it doesn't matter. If that's your.
No,
that's
but
your
she came
opponent.
out and like.
I could see her coming out right now and like running in the studio. I wouldn't be surprised. Shaking his head. But
I don't think anyone wants to be outside right now. It's probably still pouring rain.
Yeah.
They'll just wait in their car like me, like, when should I make a run for it?
Hey, Kevin answered. He said that they are live streaming this Saturday. That's awesome. Very cool. Thank you, Kevin. You're awesome.
Thanks, Kevin.
Man, he has such an awesome background. I brought him in, I guess several weeks ago just to chat about everything. Because he started wrestling like as a kid.
Yeah.
Like junior high. And he was just like, it's not really advised anymore, but it was a different time. And he's done a lot of cool stuff. And now the quality that y'all put on over there is amazing of like
Kevin's
the stream and everything.
stories are the best.
Yeah.
Like it's like, what? You write a book, Kevin.
Yeah.
I want a documentary about you.
Does he get in the ring and run some reps with you guys from time to time and do some teaching?
He'll teach sometimes, yeah, like especially the beginners
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning ring. So
cool. All right, let's see. We got. We'll play one more spot, and we can go on the FM right now. It's 9:31. We got Ethan over here, and there was one of. I'm guessing that was your friend. Was it David?
That's my brother.
Oh, that's your brother. Your brother David. He was asking what your wrestling name would be if you were a professional wrestler, and you said
Ginger Steel.
I like it.
I don't know what else to call myself. And you said Opie? What? Like,
just do you know what I'm talking about? Opie from what is that from? What's that show? It was like an old black and white TV show. I'm older than everybody in here.
I have no clue.
It's not like I watched it when it was on. It was like Nick and Night whenever I was a kid. with
I just like that name.
somebody. Opie is a good one. He looks like an
Opie.
Opie, right? Hey, David said he's the best looking brother. Is that accurate?
I think so.
Oh,
My mom probably agrees, hopefully, but we don't know.
so Ethan's brother, he's a wrestler, right?
Yeah, I have 3 brothers. Yes, one is a wrestler, but the one that's been following along lives in Louisville. He doesn't wrestle or anything, but he's cool.
But he could.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Where's your brother wrestle?
Kyle? Oh, Kyle wrestles for the University of Buffalo.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Impressive.
Yeah, to be a like a high school wrestler, that I got intrigued in that because my cousin got into it wrestling in high school over in KHEA, and then actually both my cousins, brother and sister, and then in KHEA it was they won state like one year, so it was really cool, and I was excited for them. But that's
They
like their
didn't have
dream too.
wrestling at my high school, and then they got it after I left.
If
I
they
was like, I could have been
Yeah.
here a lot earlier.
if they would have had it, would you have done it? You think?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. I would have done everything.
Yeah.
I was just all about the sports. Like, let me do it all.
Do you have siblings?
Yes.
Did they play sports too? Was it kind of like an athletic family, or?
Not to the level I did.
Yeah.
My brother did cross country in
Okay.
high school.
Well, that's
but
not easy. That wouldn't be my first choice.
I always like laugh. I'm like, I was like my father's son. Like, it's like, we're going to the batting cages. We're going outside in the back to throw your 100 pitches. And I was just like,
That's your dad was like that?
yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, if you enjoyed it, unless he was like making you do
No,
it, you're like,
yeah.
no,
They-
my arm's tired, Dad.
no more.
Yeah, I grew up playing, like Little League, and I loved it. And then in school, like in high school, I played sports. But my son, like, he played t-ball and then coach pitch, and he was like, I quit. And I was like, you can't quit. What are you doing? Like, it was kind of a weird thing for me to process because I'm like, what? It's not fun. He was like, I don't want to do it anymore. I was like, well, I'm not going to. Okay. All right. We'll find something else. So
Yeah.
he's in martial arts.
Oh,
and He's enjoying
cool.
it. So,
That's a really cool thing.
yeah.
My nephew's in sports now, and so like I'm all about it.
You like a big
at
fan?
the moment. I'm just
Are you the one? Are you rooting him on?
I'm like, do baseball. More money.
Yeah. So how do you like this area compared to where you're from? You mentioned where you were from. What's the name of that town again?
Shirts, Texas.
It's Shirts?
It's called Shirts, Texas. It's like SCHERTZ, but yeah,
Okay,
you
okay.
say it like Shirts.
Like a shirt. Okay. And then that's close to San Antonio?
Yes.
Okay. And then you moved down here, so you're in the Clear Lake area.
Mm-hmm.
Is it similar to where like Shirts, or is it like totally different?
I would say so. So you still have like that like city vibe, but
Mm-hmm.
it's more toned down rather than just being straight up in Houston.
Yeah.
But I could probably count on like one hand the amount of weekends I've actually had in Houston.
'Cause you've been traveling.
out of town all the time.
Wow.
And then when I'm here, I'm like, I just want to sleep all day.
Yeah. Kevin also told me a story about you driving in from Shirts and then like driving back, like to go train on the weekend, like not even staying. He's like, what are you doing? I didn't know that he didn't know you were doing that, and that kind of showed your
Yeah.
dedication.
So what happened? Because I worked at a gym and I worked at 8 a.m. So I would get off at noon. I would be on the road by 2, get to the gym between like 6 and 7, and I'd want to stay there as long as I could. So there were times when I was there till midnight,
Yeah.
and then I'd drive my 4 hours back, and then I'd sleep for a couple hours. I remember there was this one time I got home and my parents were already up for work, and I was like, I gotta be at work in like 30 minutes. I was like,
Oh man.
this
Yeah.
is gonna be the worst.
But
I was like,
that's-
I can't do this anymore, and that's
Yeah.
when I was like, I'm moving there. Like,
How
I'll
long
be
did
gone
you
for a
do that?
couple
That's hard. That would have to be very difficult.
yeah, and oh man, so I probably started going there like consistently around November. So it wasn't even a full 2 months
Yeah.
until I was like, this isn't safe.
I got to go to work in 30 minutes.
I'm really tired.
Yeah, those 4-hour drives and even, an hour. Sometimes, I'm sure this has happened to everybody, but I try my best not to let this happen. But you're like on the road and then like you're home and you're like, what happened? Like you kind of
Yeah.
like zoned out just because your body's in the reflexes and doing everything.
That
And
scares me.
yeah, It's not a fun feeling. And it's like, well, I'm home. I guess I better go to work.
Yeah, like I'm
Uh,
already like PTSD.
yeah. All right. So here, we're going to go back on the FM and we'll keep it going. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy. Right now it's 9:37 a.m. on a Friday morning. I'm excited. We got Alex Gracia in studio talking about reality of wrestling and what it's like to be the champion of the Diamonds division.
Good morning, everybody.
What's up? How's it going?
Great.
You know, even though it's rainy, I feel like there's something to smile about. You ran in the rain, and I saw you. I was like, park under the... Never mind. You're already going. Yeah, and I'm sorry about that, but you had a big smile on your face.
What a great day to wear white pants.
That's true. That's true. But you got the pink top because that's kind of your thing, right? And the pink hair.
Yeah. Anytime you see me, I'll probably have pink on me somewhere.
Is it hard to keep your hair pink?
It's a little bit of a maintenance thing, but I've done it for over a year now, so now I'm like, oh, I don't know anything else.
Yeah. You could you see yourself ever going away from like the I guess the name, the Pink Dream, and switching it up and I don't know, going a different route?
It's funny you say that because I feel like once I started like taking the risk and like making my hair pink or this or that or wearing what I want to wear and doing this and like not being scared, then I started to actually start feeling like myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if pink's my color, then like I feel like if you feel good, you do good.
That's true.
So
that's cool. Well, yeah, it works, and it's always fun to switch it up every once and again, and that would be a good storyline. Maybe just dyeing it all black, turning
my
heel.
hair was black before this, so
Okay.
That's why I'm like, man, that was a long time to be able to get it like this.
Yeah. If you're watching on Facebook, if you have any questions, I see some people, they're tuning in and they're following along as well. If you have any questions for the Diamonds Division champion, Alex Gracia, then you can ask. Feel free to ask, and we're going to be able to get those asked and answered. Can you show off the belt one more time? Because this is legit. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll be able to see this. If you're listening on 99.5 FM, there is a pretty legit belt.
Yes.
And this one's been in circulation for how long? Any idea? Because I think that they switched it out like a year ago or so.
They said that they redesigned it. I wasn't here
Mm-hmm.
when they did that.
Yeah.
But
And if you had to like say,
I like it a lot.
what does it mean being the champion to you? that's like kind of like a weird loaded question, I guess.
I mean, to me, when I did eventually win the title,
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I had to step up my game even more. And that's when I feel like there's like a responsibility now that, okay, like I have this belt, like I'm a representation of this company, and I not only need to hold myself to a higher standard, but I need to do this because of the people I'm representing. So when I go somewhere and they do call me the Diamonds champion, I want to be able to be a good representation of that.
Man, I didn't even think about that till just now because you mentioned, hey, I'm never home. Like on the weekends, I'm not home. I'm wrestling somewhere, and you go and wrestle in New Jersey. You go wrestle in Chicago, in Japan. They know, hey, this is the best of the best at Booker T's promotion in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, because they will say it on commentary. Like, Alex currently has the title at Booker T's school, so it's like, no pressure now.
Yeah, and that's a lot of
Yeah.
pressure, I assume.
Yeah, I love it. I love the pressure.
Do you ever wish that they were like, maybe just don't announce that part yet till after, and then they'll be like, oh, she is good.
They don't.
No, they don't
even
ask.
They're just like, oh, we know your resume.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna say everything.
That's cool. That's cool. Hey, have you had the opportunity to wrestle for any other Texas promotions? I know that as a Kiefer Bartek, he has New Texas
Pro. So I've wrestled there. There's Sabotage Wrestling, Ladies Night Out, Wrestle Circus when it was around earlier this year.
What's up with Ladies Night Out? Is there another one in the works?
Yeah, there's one coming up. It's the same night as a Sabotage show,
Okay.
which I had already gotten booked like way, way, way in advance for that show. So I'm missing it, unfortunately. But I mean, like, it just means that there's 2 shows in Texas that are women's shows. That's, to me,
deal.
that's just more positions and more opportunities for girls. It's like we have a spot to wrestle today.
Yeah. I've noticed that even at Booker T's school that there are I've seen like some pictures shared like, hey, it's like an all girls training night. Who started that, and are you a part of it?
Yeah, so I'm there at training as much as I can be, especially those nights, because I just think it's good for us to be working with other women.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when in a lot of places, I know like where I came from, there was only me and one other girl who trained. So you're training with guys a lot of times, and no discrimination like at all, but it's like in the end, it's like my matches are going to be against like other women.
Right.
And so you're getting to like work with the diversity there.
Okay. I have seen a trend of tag teams with like guy and girl versus guy and girl. I think they call them like intergender
tag teams.
Yeah. And has that been around? I've just seen them, here recently more, where it's kind of a neat concept. What are your thoughts on those? Because you've been in some before, right?
Yeah. So Will Allday was my tag partner. So
is he a good partner?
We did I thought we had like pretty good chemistry. I was like, okay, so we have like the same type of wrestling style, so that was fun. So when we were like, let's do this as a tag team move, it was like something that we both were like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think intergender started becoming more of a thing, I would say, like this year. But I mean, it was already happening.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I always wonder, like, man, is that safe? Is Alex gonna hurt Will? Like, just kind of, I don't know, one of those things. Like, what if a girl takes out a guy? That would be a big ego hit. So it's like, I feel like it's more of a risk to like the guys, maybe like ego and pride, and you just get tossed around by Alex. That's not a good look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely a touchy subject in the wrestling sports world.
Yeah.
But I think all in all, it's like we're all wrestlers in the end, and like we all we do the same training. We go through everything. We don't do anything different than the guys and vice versa. So we're all there improving and getting better together. Yeah.
Whenever you are in a tag team match like that and you've never like wrestled against someone, you mentioned like the chemistry with your partner, but almost even like your opponents. Sometimes it helps to have a chemistry, with them. Is it easy to build that, or does it depend on the opponent? Because
I think it just depends. Like there are just people you have chemistry with, and some people you don't.
Sure.
And it's crazy. Like sometimes, like your best friends are the people you have the worst chemistry with in the ring. Like it's you just never know, and it's fine because I mean, not everyone's gonna be your cup of tea.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff that Booker T is like a stiff wrestler, or that someone like Rex Andrews is a stiff wrestler. Like whenever they hit you, like it hurts, right? It's like, hey, it's part of this, and it hurts. Do you have a reputation as a wrestler that they're like maybe you're a stiff wrestler, or people kind of have a?
I don't know about it. If there is, let me know.
Okay.
So I'm aware.
I'm gonna find out. We're gonna have to find out. So I'm gonna have to bring in Hyon or something, or Will. Maybe Will will know. I've had Will on a lot, but not here recently. Maybe like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. He's a good guy. He's done a lot of cool stuff too. He's kind of, I feel like you and him kind of came in almost at the same time and both kind of blew up.
Yeah, we did. So we met at a promotion called Lions Pride.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm a wrestler at Reality of Wrestling." And I was like, "Y'all are all really good."
Mm-hmm.
Because that was before I was like involved in any way over here. And no, I just think he has like that persona and that same drive of like, I want to learn, I want to get better, I want to get out there, how can I do this? And like literally, like, I commend him because like he went to California to go train with people over there, because you're not going to learn wrestling all from one place. Like it's good to get opinions from other people and like learn from other people. There's a lot of knowledgeable people out there. And ironically, he even like listened to me. He's in, I forget what city he's in right now, but he's doing an Evolve seminar, an Evolve tryout. So I was like, because he asked me, he's like, hey, how'd you get on Evolve? And I was like, I did a seminar a year ago, and now I'm here. And so I commend people that are like willing to take that step and like bet on themselves and actually like listen and be like, hey, how'd you do that? Like just genuinely being like, okay, teach me your ways. Like, let me get there too. So like we should all be learning from each other.
Well, that's cool that you're willing to help and give advice, because a lot of the times it's anything is competitive, especially wrestling. You're competing, you're an athlete, and so I guess the relationship that the reality wrestling roster has, where you're willing to be, this is what I did, you can do it too, because is that easy to do? Because at the end of the day, I mean, there's lots of opportunity everywhere, but at the same time, there's like, if someone moves up a spot, that could have been you. Is it hard to balance that, or are you just more open, being like, hey, there's enough opportunity for everybody?
I think when I entered the business, I had a lot of good mentors and a lot of good people who are like my role models now, who never felt like I see potential in her, but I'm not going to tell her because I know she'll take it and run with it. Like, they wanted me to take it and run with it.
Yeah.
And now that I am getting more opportunities, like, they almost commend me even more because they're like, you listen. Like, you're someone who I can coach and I can tell, and you're going to go do this. And it's like a lot of the opportunities now, they didn't just happen. They were like a year in the making. And I want to be able to help someone and like bring someone up, because all in all, like, wherever we're supposed to be or whatever we're supposed to do, I feel like that's what's going to happen. And, well, in most cases, so sometimes, hopefully. And I don't know. It's like, if this is your time now, my time's going to come. And I'm going to keep busting my butt and, like, working hard to get to that. So I just feel like whenever someone gets an opportunity or someone, like, gets a chance for growth, like, applaud them for it. Because, like, this is their moment,
Yeah. That's awesome. That's the right way to be looking at it. I saw that Gino announced over the weekend that he just got an opportunity and he had signed some kind of deal.
MLW.
Yeah.
So it's like Major League Wrestling. Yeah, that's going to be freaking awesome for him.
Does that allow him to still wrestle at Reality of Wrestling? I guess it just depends on the
We were
agreement.
told that he's still going to be wrestling at Reality of Wrestling. I'm not sure really like details of the contract, but there are a lot of TV contracts out there. It's nice because they will let you still wrestle like a lot of like independent shows.
Yeah.
Just as long as you're not going to like a competing company.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I saw that, whenever AEW kind of came on the scene and there was, I guess, Kylie Ray.
Yeah.
And they couldn't announce anything. Then they finally did. And I saw like Sammy Guevara, Kylie Ray, and, the rest of the roster were announced. But thinking about the local people, that have a tie over here, but they were still allowed to wrestle in some of these independent. And I think they still may be even
now
allowed
I
to.
don't think they can because now
the TV deal
they're
and
on
all that
TNT,
stuff.
But I just think it's great. I'm like, all I see is I'm just like, how does this not get you like excited? Like, as a wrestler, I'm like, you should be excited to be like, there is a way out. There is a way, like, and they're showing us.
Yeah.
Like, they're showing us that you can get your ticket and doing this or A, B, and C or going here or
That's the
doing
map.
this. Like, okay, eventually it'll be my turn if
Yeah.
I can keep that up.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, and you have to be strong, and then you have to like look fit, and it just depends. But like, how do you kind of achieve all that? What kind of work goes into it?
I hate nutrition. I just want to eat like Taco Bell every day.
Right, yeah.
It's so hard. So it's crazy because before I went to Japan, I was pretty strict with like my diet, and I was going to the gym every single day. And when I went to Japan for 2 months, like, I was just doing like my dojo training, and I just totally threw nutrition out the door. And so when I came back and then got my invitation for my tryout, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, now I'm in like the worst shape. But I hired a nutritionist this year and really been trying to like stay up with my strength training and all that, because I mean, every single time it's worked for me. So I'm just like, oh, okay, this like diet and fitness thing, like I guess there is some magic to it.
Yeah. It's not the easiest, but again, it's like anything else. The advice. Yeah. It's like, are these suggestions or rough guidelines? Like, how much give and wiggle is there to this? Like 4 ounces of protein. Like, are you sure? Where's the Taco Bell on there? It's not on there. Hey, so I have to ask this question. This is from John. He said, "Hey, ask her if she wants to arm wrestle. Do you want to arm wrestle, John?"
We could.
Okay, so
it's
there.
Like winner buys pizza.
Winner gets pizza. Okay.
Winner gets
Is that on the nutrition plan? I need to get on that plan.
On Sundays.
Okay. I'm feeling that. Awesome.
I would just wait till Sunday. Like every Sunday. Almost there. Almost there.
One day closer to the pizza.
Yes.
All right. Hey, so we're about out of time. Is there anything else you'd like to share at all? And then maybe remind people what they can do tomorrow night?
I would just say check out Reality of Wrestling if you haven't, even if you're not a wrestling fan. Like, I feel like you'll definitely get something from it. And who knows, you might become a wrestling fan. But I think it's just something here locally. Like, all of us work really hard, and the people who are behind the scenes, in the ring, no matter what, like, it's a family atmosphere. Bring everybody.
Yes. All right. So right now it is 9:53. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this video out still, and then let me know. I go back and answer and read these comments as well, what you got going on today. Don't forget, tomorrow at 9 a.m., come out to KHEA Radio as we are having our inaugural Talk of Taco Cook-Off. You are invited. There is going to be food vendors, bounce houses, all kinds of ridiculous stuff out here. It's absolutely free to attend. Make sure that you come out. 601 Delaney Road right here in Lamarck. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Bye, Facebook.